Yeah, I think it is a lot of subtle pervy stuff going on here as well. we, we,
Yeah, you go
we
straight
hit
for the pervy stuff, man. Hello and welcome back to Pod Hard. Yes, that fantastic, fabulous, entertaining, wow podcast that you love so much. My name is Jonas Högberg.
And this is Anders Hultqvist. And we will be hanging around a bit in 1933.
Yeah, it's a favorite year of ours, apparently.
Yeah, we stick around.
Yeah, we're not only gonna see one more film, we're gonna see another film next week as well. I mean, what is going on? 1933 is a big, we're hearting 1933 for sure.
Big action year.
Yes. So last episode we looked at one of the biggest spectacles of all time, and I guess this is a bit of a spectacle as well. We're actually watching our first musical this time.
This is something we have been talking about since the start, that we should include dance movies into the action field. And then we have been, crap at follow through.
Yes, but now we're doing it.
Yeah.
For reals. And apparently we like musicals that sort of that are about the movie industry. I mean, we're gonna see Singing in the Rain for sure when we get to the 50s. And Footlight Parade, which we're watching today, is also about the movie industry and about the turn to talkies.
Yeah, our favorite transition era.
Apparently, that's what you do musicals about. And this is a movie with Jimmy Cagney as the main star. I was a bit surprised. I thought he was only like a big gangster movie star, but apparently he was like started out doing vaudeville and stuff like that.
Yeah, he was a sing and dance man on the stage.
So this will be quite interesting. But he only made two musicals really. This one and Yankee Doodle Dandy. So you almost feel sorry for him because apparently he loved this stuff.
I mean, he really had to push for being able to play the lead in this one. I think. I think the company were like, "What? Aren't you the gangster guy?" I think he was already established as a gangster guy, like in 1930, 1931 or something. I'm no Cagney connoisseur. I don't know that much about him, actually.
Well, this will for sure be very interesting. We're doing one of our pre-talks, so we haven't even seen the movie yet, but we're gonna do that right now. And with that, we're back. We've seen Footlight Parade, which is, a spectacle, to be sure. Or what would you say, Anders?
Yeah, I feel a bit bulldozed over here. This is probably, at least initially, one of the most cat-heavy flicks I've seen, like, ever. How does that feel, Jonas?
Yeah, we were starting to wonder, like, because they start to do like a number about cats, which is, I'm guessing, called Cats, and made us wonder, hey, is the musical Cats, is that based on this thing, or does it go way more back? Hey, who knows? But
I was thinking more in line of you being a cat person. You usually notice every cat in frame. So you got a handful here.
Yeah, and I got a beautiful black cat, which is precisely what I have myself. A beautiful black cat named Tetris. I'm not sure what this cat is called, but he's all right by me. And he's the inspiration for one of the dance numbers in this movie.
Yeah, I think Cagney has watched Cats in the Alley, and yeah, he is inspired. He gets inspired by almost anything, and I think it's there's so much stuff in here. There's a hell of a tempo. For the first hour, I would say there is a lot of mouth action. Everyone is motor mouthing their way through this one.
That's interesting, because that's something that we've been missing out on. I mean, yeah, sure, there were some fast-talking dudes in Scarface, but this is on a whole another level, man. This is like screwball comedy, fastness.
But do you define talking fast as an action cinema thingy?
Well, maybe we need to after seeing this movie, because, man, the tempo, the tempo is crazy. I mean, compared even to modern movies where people talk for the most part. This is off the charts, man. What are they doing?
Off mic, we have been talking about how to fit the Marx Brothers in, and the only thing we have going is Groucho Marx mouth.
Everybody's got a Groucho mouth here. And everybody's got these snappy zingers and comebacks. And innuendos and
Yeah, you know, pervy old me kinda get a hint of there is some cheeky stuff going on here, or a lot of cheeky stuff, but I can't make anything out of most stuff. As well as I think this movie is either very problematic or subversive, but all of this is a bit above my pay grade to figure these things out. I guess I could just leave it at that.
Maybe that's for the best part. I mean, this was a romp, to be sure, and I'm so glad we included a musical in our journey through action cinema history, because this was a hoot, man! Wow.
The first hour moves at a pace. Okay, I gotta find another set of words, I suppose. And it moves fast. But I mean, there is no action. But
Anders,
no, wait. No. Shut up. When we get to the big 3-act musical sequence, at first it is only singing, and that is a part of musical that I am not that fond of. At that point I was thinking, why are we watching this? This is the wrong kind of musical. But then at the second and third instance we do get what we are looking for.
We sure do. So maybe we should just recap the plot very quickly here. As we alluded to in our pre-talk, this movie is sort of tackles the beginning of the talkies, sound cinema, and the fact that musicals is out. Nobody wants to go see a musical on Broadway anymore when they can go see talkies at the cinema. And so James Cagney, whose job it is to, do musicals, come up with all the ideas to do all sorts of wacky, weird musicals, is all of a sudden out of a job. But he's out of a job for like 2 minutes until he figures out an idea. Oh, let's do prologues. Let's do sort of mini musicals as a prologue to movies in cinema. And I'm not entirely sure about all of the basics or how even the logistics is being handled here, because all of this seems like a mad idea. Like, what are they even talking about? I mean, it has to be like selected cinemas, of course. It can't be all cinemas in the United States. That would just be bonkers. But yeah, so that's the general idea, and it's a lot of brouhaha back and forth. There's a rival company that steals all of Jimmy Cagney's ideas all the time. There's a snitch in his theater group, and his secretary is in love with him, and he doesn't get it, and he pursues another woman. And there's so many small stories interwoven between each other, and it's all sort of erupts. When Jimmy Cagney needs to produce 3 prologues and show them to one of these big cinema holders, so they can sign a contract with this dude. Basically, the first hour and 15 minutes or so is all this fast talking at a breakneck pace, and then the last half hour is these 3 prologues, basically, which is all directed by Busby Berkeley, that madman that did so many musical cinema in the 30s foremost.
And they're huge.
Oh man, these numbers, these musical numbers, they are bonkers, man. If you think about old Hollywood movies, I'm guessing a lot of you would think about lots of women swimming in elaborate patterns, which is basically one of these numbers. This is like the extreme version of that.
And this rapid fire narrative is, I love it. I mean, he gets home and he says, yeah, ain't making that much money at the moment. And his wife is instantly like, okay, I'm getting a divorce. I only want money. And he's like, okay. Yeah. And then that's settled.
He doesn't care.
Although it isn't. It's another plot point later. But no one cares. They just move through it at brisk pace, and it's great. I would love to see this more.
The scene after he gets told that the wife wants a divorce, he is at the pharmacy buying aspirin. So that's like, oh, now I got a headache because of that. But that's all it is. It's very lightweight, everything. He doesn't think about it any more than that. His full focus is on producing these numbers and coming up with new ideas.
Yeah, from buying the aspirin, he gets the idea to do these chain store dance number routines, and his headache is gone. I don't need aspirin. Headache is gone. And he rushes out.
Yeah, and he runs into the executive's office and talks with the 2 dudes in command. And
yeah, these old geezers. They're great.
The great dialogue between those guys. It bounces between them in a fantastic fashion. Yeah, I mean, we had to hold on to our seats, and usually we tend to do that when we watch Terminator 2 or a really badass action movie. But this is just people talking, and still we're swept away, Anders.
There's so much going on plot-wise. And then they go on lockdown. So in 3 days they gotta rehearse 3 big numbers, and they huge numbers, and without the snitch going to tell the other companies. So they are getting locked in and rehearse day and night and sleep there as well. These scenes reminded me a bit of Suspiria when they sleep in the same room, everyone. All these beds and all the dancers.
Well, I mean, Busby Berkeley musicals have inspired lots of people, of course. I instantly thought of the Coen brothers in Hail Caesar. They do a tribute to, I think it's one of the acts in this movie, actually, when there's a lot of fleet soldiers having a parade and dancing in a seedy bar in what is it, Shanghai or something like that. So they do a tribute of that with Channing Tatum in Hail Caesar, and they've also done similar acts in The Big Lebowski, when the dude has his hallucinogenic he's tripping out, basically, and he's moving through women's legs and all of that. Yeah, there's a lot of women's legs, and that water scene where it's 100, 200 women or something like that, and they're all forming these patterns, and the patterns move around, and the camera... for a long while, it doesn't really cut, so it's all of these persons actually performing these patterns and changing patterns. It's all filmed from overhead, from above, down onto the water, and it's fantastic. And one of the patterns sort of looks like the mobile game Snake. Fantastic, rickety movements.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of subtle perv stuff going on here as well.
You go straight for the pervy stuff, man.
Yeah, but Yeah, never mind.
No, I mind.
So we get to these coordinated water movements about 1 hour, 20 minutes in or something. And as you say, the human body is abstracted to pure geometrical form or something. I guess there could be some action cinema thingies going on here with... I mean, it reminds me of the things I like with some animated action cinema, where you can bend and stretch form into total abstractions of just color and space and form. So it's quite interesting for a couple of shots as well, the one you are talking about. And then for the third act, I gotta just chime in that they go by buses in a rush between these different set pieces. They are put up in different theaters, and they just fill up buses and go around town.
Yeah, and they're changing clothes in the buses as they go.
Yeah, so outside you see these buses lit up almost with a bunch of movement going on inside. Funny. And for the third act, somehow Cagney's character found out that his lead is drunk and an amateur.
Yeah.
So he takes over the role himself, but we don't know that initially, although we do know. And the transition is mesmerizing. We just see a body fall down some stairs and proceed to follow these legs, the lower part of the body. And both you and me love following legs around and moving through this seedy bar.
You see the arm as well, because he's tapping on tables and is pushing away ladies and stuff like that.
James Cagney has this great body language. He moves at a very... he owns the screen. And the camera movement throughout this scene is... it's awe-inspiring. It should probably be studied in detail.
I mean, I want to shake the cameraman's hand, because this is one of the most fluid shots I've seen. First, this shot as they follow Cagney without showing his face among the tables in the seedy bar. And then there's another shot when there's a big parade, I think. Is it that one I think about? Anyway, there's a lot of fantastic movement with the camera.
I mean, it moves in and out and up and goes beneath, and sometimes in the same shot.
And it goes down to the ground as they come marching on, and we only get to see like feet coming onto the camera.
Yeah, feet again.
We're going Tarantino here.
yeah. Should we do a Tarantino special soon or something?
Well, when we get to the 90s, I guess.
But it's really, the fluidity of it is really impressive. And we do get a very brief bar brawl that strikes a fine balance between, the more brawly... It's brawler light, but this stylized, choreographed version of it. The moves are so clean and precise. It's more like dance, of course. It is a dance, but it highlights the dance of the fight, and I really liked it. It's very brief though. So
they also have a nice tap dance routine. Jimmy Cagney and Ruby Keeler, who plays all of the female leads in all these three prologues, these mini musicals, and they do this fantastic tap dance routine on the bar disc on this CD place. They transition from the bar disc to a table. I don't know how they did that, because they had to have like a table between and bodies between, because they did that so nice. First I was like, oh, they're tap dancing on the bar disc, and then the camera doesn't cut, and then what? Now they're tap dancing on a table. What happened?
Is it when they tap behind people?
Yeah. So that's, I guess, someone carried on to a table as like a landing bridge between the bar disc and the table, us unknowingly. And it was so great. So many fantastic shots here. Unfortunately, Ruby Keeler is dressed in yellowface. She's meant to portray like a Chinese woman here. There's some not so classy vibes here.
But I guess what musicals and as at least some parts of action cinema kind of share is both the ability to leave the established reality of the movie's universe, derail the narrative completely, and somehow indulge in the spectacle of it all.
Yeah, you have a fondness for derailing the narrative, don't you?
Yeah, it's one of my what I have repeated a lot of times as well. Yeah, why not derail the narrative?
Yeah, I mean, stand by your guns, man. And as for your pervy side, I mean, there's a lot of pre-code perviness, as we've already alluded to. But I love that these movies also show it's not just the men who's pervy, it's also the women. I mean, Jimmy Cagney gets a new girlfriend, which Joan Blondell tries to outsmart because she's in love with him without him knowing. And this new girlfriend, we get to see her as she's sitting in her new office because she gets a job at the company because she is Cagney's girlfriend. And she's browsing in a magazine called Naughty Stories. And later on, she's like making out with another man. So there's a lot of raciness going on between takes. And everybody is talking about sex in some way. We can just sense it, but we can't really understand it. And I guess that's what the censors were like. They were like tugging their hair. Like, there is something going on here. Just don't know what. Yeah, it's great. I mean, there's a lot... It is a lot of language things that really hasn't translated from the 30s. I mean, Cagney says sometime, I'm daffy trying to figure out new ideas. And there's all sorts of these old words that really doesn't make any sense nowadays. So you are a bit sidewinded almost watching this movie.
But it's nice. I like being sidewinded.
Yeah, me too.
I like being bulldozed as well.
Yeah, so we get sidewinded and bulldozed by Footlight Parade. What's not to like about this? Well, yeah, the yellow face, of course. But beside that...
Being insensitive about some things here, and everybody's yelling, and we get big 30-minute spectacle at the end, derailing everything, and so on and so on, and abstracted form. You know who I'm gonna mention here, but because I always return to him. But this reminds me, although the dialogue is very... is much tighter, of course. We haven't talked about it a lot. But the whole structure of the thing reminds me, of course, of Michael Bay.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, Michael Bay would kill for the dialogue they have in this movie.
Yeah, of course. But someone should give him a script like this and let him go off. I mean, the abstractions and the 45-minute derailing... and the insensitive, both racial and political views. It's his ballpark.
Well, maybe. I'm not sure what to say about that.
No, I had to get it in there.
I see. Well, yeah, so, I mean, yeah, what a movie. I mean, this is a movie that essentially shows you hundreds of beautiful women swimming in water, making a zipper. And unzipping the zipper. I mean, what else do you need in movies? Do you need anything more than that? I don't know.
I'd argue I'd need a bit of other stuff.
Well, that's not a very good ending, is it, to a podcast, Anders? Maybe I need one or two things more, but... Yeah, no explosions in this movie.
Yeah, we've left cinema's greatest explosions behind us.
Yeah, and instead the mouths are exploding.
And cinema's greatest zippers, you would like to point out.
Yeah, okay, so we got mouths exploding, zippers exploding, Jimmy Cagney's legs exploding. He has, I mean, his legs are fantastic, man. He has these rubber leg quality to them, where they're like, you don't know where they're gonna end up.
Yeah, there's a lot of legs. Yeah, and Cagney's legs are front and center.
Yeah, almost all the time.
Great lines. I mean, Ruby Keeler is also amazing. The tap dancing in this one is off the cuff. Although I don't really know how to judge tap dancing, but I guess when you see a good tap dance, it's really something.
It resonates with you, man.
Yeah, but I'm not sure I could tell you what makes a good tap dance or a bad one. But I guess sometimes it's just there. Is this a better end for you?
I don't know.
But it ain't over. I mean, we're gonna pull through with 1933 for another movie.
Oh, the year 1933 ain't over.
So it's not the end.
Oh, and we got to see our first John Wayne movie in this movie.
Yeah, there's a movie in a movie.
Which some early John Wayne movie that's being shown in the movie theater. So yeah, we're being teased what to expect.
Yeah, we have been ignoring John Wayne a bit.
Yes, and maybe that's right of us to do, because I guess he wasn't really a swell dude. But we are gonna watch.
But have we ignored anyone up until now because they aren't swell? We have seen some clips. There's always at least one good John Wayne punch scene throughout his movies. They are really down and dirty, and he just beat people up.
Yeah, do you think he paid people to get beaten up just as...
Donnie Yen? I have no idea. Do you know anything about this?
Maybe worth investigating for future episodes. Yeah, but man, I mean, the 30s, it's really delivering, man. I thought the 30s was gonna be a drag, but so far, so good.